Okay, so I'm going to start this then. This is going to be a long one, so buckle in, everybody. So, hello everyone, and welcome back to the D&D Conan Hyborian Adventures. So, because we are introducing somebody new, we're going to cover over the story very basically, very quickly. The crew started in Zamoria. Originally, the main three characters were kidnapped by spider cultists. After freeing themselves, they managed to escape and head to the closest city that was available to them, which at the time, and I'm zooming in the map to try and get closer, which at the time was Shadazar. After reaching there, they met Theobald. They went on a few adventures into the northern wastes and came back, and then were able to finally afford a small enough boat that they could get out on the river. And now, having headed off into the sea, they not only dealt with a group of river pirates, but also now dealt with a actual large boat of pirates, which they have now abducted their boat after murdering everybody but the mage, who was lucky enough to be last.
Yep. I was planning on trying to take the captain alive, but the mage kind of melted her.
Yep. The mage just panicked and fireballed the group and set his own boss on fire. That's a oops.
It's like, now how am I supposed to painfully remove her teeth one at a time while she's conscious? If she's dead.
I'm gonna have to start with you then.
And Velena's like, they call me crazy.
What's
Anyways.
fun with a skull having teeth?
Yeah, what is the skull without teeth?
So you all are headed east and slight bit north to try and reach. I have now researched this, and I'm going to pull up actually, now that I'm thinking of it, we should pull up one of the additional maps. I'm gonna go with this one. It's a little bit easier to read, and it's also a general region one, so it should be a little more precise on what you're trying to look for here. I think I need to actually upload it. Choose a file. That one.
And I was actually going to say, I don't think that image of the river has really been relevant for quite a while.
Oh, there, finally loaded. Yeah, I haven't had any like physical examples to show you guys for your region, but this is a map that we're talking about here. So if you look to the far left of this map, you'll see that you are seeing the edge of the sea. So you are actually headed in the direction of Razadan.
Okay.
Okay.
It's one of the coastal cities, and you've been warned that beyond the cities on the coast, it's a pretty rough place.
Right.
So arriving there, you are pretty much one of the very few boats over there. Apparently the pirating trouble on the sea has caused most boats to actually not make it to the other docks. So just the fact that a big boat is actually showing up has gotten quite a few people just crowding to the dock looking at you guys as you're coming in. Which, by the way, you've also had like a good 12 hours or so after that last fight. You've had like a night, and you're technically in the next morning as you arrive.
Right.
So
I'm assuming we've docked then.
Yep. You slowly ease into dock. You pull up all the masts and secure the boat to the dock. And before too terribly long, because there's enough commotion, a dock handler does finally at last come out. By the way, you're noticing that there's, as usual, there's a little bit of a mix of different people, but in this place in particular seems a lot to be either a lot of dark-skinned guys or a lot of what appear to be Eastern men and women as well are gathered here. Usually you see the later types that you normally see in like Katai and further eastern areas, but they do seem to have made quite an impact on this side of the sea as well.
right.
Let's see if I can find anyone that can actually understand me, because I don't know if they.
Well, like I said, the dock master is coming up to you, and he is
Okay.
speaking Aquilonian. So
Okay.
he does walk up to the ship and does openly greet you.
All right. I greet him and introduce myself as Captain Azina and hold out my hand for him to shake it.
The dock master is a dark-skinned man, a little heavy set. He's just quickly grabs your hand with both hands. Ah, yes, welcome, hello. I take it you're one of the merchants, correct?
Actually, I'm more of a mercenary. We did bring a delivery with us, but we also took care of some pirates that had been attacking the ships, and some of the stolen goods are still on this ship that we confiscated from them.
He looks surprised for a moment and looks at the big ship, and he's just like, "Oh, so he found some of it too. Excellent, excellent." He literally turns around and quickly whistles, and you see a whole bunch of guys like hustle it as they're apparently getting both the gear to help unload your ship, as well as possibly some other things prepared as well.
Yeah. They tried to board us, but we reverse boarded them.
He comes back around to you. You reverse boarded them. Oh, devastating group, I take it. And then he looks at the lot of you and it's like, okay, there's like 3 of you there. Must have been a close fight. There's just enough of you.
Right. Well, I just realized, because you mentioned we have had a rest. I'm assuming we should hit the long rest.
Yeah, you should have a long rest. Yeah, so everyone who hasn't had a long rest should get that. Actually, not to mention it.
I figured that much. Yeah.
I'll have to long rest the NPCs.
I have a question. Can Valina have like a cloak or a robe to put over her, like a hood and a cape kind of attached to each other with her clothes?
I think you had something like that, or at least you had a different outfit for sure. So that could be kind of considered part of it, I guess. It wouldn't be too much of an attachment.
Yeah, she tries to cover up her white hair and puts a hood over.
So yeah, you just essentially your new outfit has a hood to it. Sure.
Yeah.
So it's not immediately as noticeable as it would have been.
Yeah, and she kind of walks up and whip her and just kind of pets under her wolf's mouth and pets under her raven's mouth, and then just walk up to the dockmaster and ask, what temples are in the area? If you don't mind me asking.
That was weird. Sorry, I clicked on long rest, and all of a sudden
Giselle lost a ton of health.
There's like a 29 in the other thing here. I'm wondering if that has something to do with it. I'm not sure how that.
Yeah, that's for the secondary number under their health is for like damage over time effects.
Oh, I'm not sure how that 29 got there in the first place, but okay.
I'm guessing it was probably like her previous max health, and maybe you put it in the wrong place. I don't know.
Maybe the character sheets were a little touchy last night.
Were you saying my question was weird, or was that just?
He was talking about.
Sorry, I was having a character sheet issue. So what were you saying?
She asked about the area and what temples are in the area.
What temples are in the area?
Yeah.
The reaction to him is he kind of raises his eyebrow and goes, "I'm sorry, my dear, we don't have many temples. We do have several shrines to different gods that the locals do worship." And he kind of gestures a hand off towards the northeastern part of the city. This is a city. It's roughly built, but it's here, and it's a little more permanent than the usual campsites that a lot of the Harcanians take part in, because a lot of them are nomadic still, and they are still out and about. It's just the coastline that they've actually tried to civilize.
So I wouldn't expect large temples, just shrines.
Yeah, you can expect to see a decent amount of different shrines, depending on if people have had enough time and money to put effort into it.
Is that voice still whispering in my head, or?
Oh, the voice, you haven't heard it since you saw the weird picture of the woman in that book.
Oh, okay.
It's just the one time, and maybe every once in a while you've heard this weird whisper, but it's not been like a constantly ongoing thing.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering about, the weird whisper.
I do show him the pirate flag from the pirates we defeated, and say, this was the flag they were flying. Do you know anything about it?
Okay, he takes the flag from you and he helps pull it open a bit and has a look at it. I believe I said it was crossed swords with something else, like a hawk? Or,
I think so.
Yeah, it was something
Some
like
kind
a
of
hawk,
bird.
or like that, something like that. He kind of looks at it for a moment. I think these pirates originated from the south. We heard that they were coming up from the ocean, but other than that, kind of shrugs. We can't say very much. Not many of them have been captured, and the few that have been captured usually try to kill themselves so that we cannot question them.
Yeah. So, do you know if there'd be any kind of reward for dealing with this particular group or recovering the goods?
As you question this, usually you literally see his lips curl back into a big smile, and he smacks your shoulder. Ha ha ha! Of course there is. There's the boys are coming with it now. He kind of gestures. You can see way off in the background. There's a couple of people heading into a facility to gather some things yet, as well as the people who are already pushing gear to help unload the ships.
All right.
You'll get your reward in a few moments. The boys will need a little while to gather everything.
All right.
Before too terribly long, the crowds do find disperse a little bit after enough of them have gawked at ship for a while. Others do find get out of the way so that the docking crew can finally get to work and start unloading both your large ship as well as the smaller ship in the back. That's basically this is another unusual side is that essentially you're running a tugboat chain of boats at this point, because you got the big one in the front, you got your smaller longboat in the back, and then you got the little canoe tied to that.
Actually, I think we just had the canoe in the bigger boat.
That's right. Actually, you might have actually tried to pull it up onto the boat, I believe.
Yeah, because it wouldn't have been it's small enough that we should have been able to fit it somewhere.
You got a hefty cleric and a barbarian. You should have enough muscle between the lot of you and the new crewmates.
So this is not anything I'm asking the Dockmaster. This is something I'm asking out of character. We were talking about moving the bear mast thing to the new ship. Is that something that Gunter would be able to do, or would we need to find an actual shipyard?
I believe he's technically your carpenter, so yes, that would be something he can look into trying to do, especially while you have some downtime.
Right. Okay.
So everybody gets rooms now on the big ship, right?
Not like I'm not gonna say individual rooms, so you definitely have bigger sleeping quarters on the bigger ship.
Okay.
Yeah, the main thing is deciding what to do with the smaller ship now.
Alzina, probably being captain, has her own room in the captain's quarters, essentially. But the rest of you do have like a bigger, entire floor to yourselves to sleep on, and it's a much bigger ship. I just
remember, how are we gonna privately? Can we privately remove the shrine thing we found with Crom to bigger ship without?
Well, that wasn't like a very big thing. That was just a large metal plate.
As basically a large metal plate, and not many people are going to really take particular notice of that outside of watching the Cimmerian plucking something off the smaller boat and bringing it to the bigger one.
I mean, he's able to carry it himself, so there's not really any issue moving it.
Right.
Yeah, that'll be something that Geralt will take care of in his free time, if anything.
Yeah. Speaking of Geralt, Elena is just gonna shoot us a wicked glance at Geralt and just kind of turn her head and go, huh, and just walk off.
Geralt, as usual, doesn't get it, just looks confused, shrugs, and just continues on with helping unload the ship.
Oh, by the way, something that I just remembered. Is there any herbal place to buy herbs or anything like that?
Oh, we haven't really ventured into town yet, but I'm pretty sure
Well,
if
not
you just
yet.
look
I
around,
guess
but
I'll
you
wait
can
on
try
us.
to.
I'll look around and then on the dock and then wait for Ozina to move and then.
So I've had a realization or a funny thoughts like I'm sure at this point Garroth has actually figured out that Velena is not how most civilized women behave.
Oh, he understands that. He's met civilized women a little bit, and she's weird.
I know, but like when we first encountered him, he was just reacting to both of our characters as going civilized women. Ugh."
No, he yeah. At this point, he's just like, no, this is just a bunch of weirdos. I like some of the other weirdos better than that one, though. Oh, that's
Anyways,
just crazy.
So she looks back out and saying, "Is everything taken care of, Captain?"
Well, I'm just basically waiting here for them to finish to finish with the cargo and everything.
And then Velena goes, "Then may I take leave and absence to go explore the city?"
Yeah. Once we actually get paid, I can divvy money up. But until then, do whatever you want.
All right, and she decides to go strolling in the city and look for a place that does herbs and look around at the local shrines and see if anything stands out.
All right, roll me investigation.
All right. Investigation. What did I roll?
I
11.
rolled an 11.
A Revan.
Are you looking for any particular herbs, or just looking for a place in general?
You're gonna roll your head left when I say it. Laxative.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Wait, what? No.
Sorry. Like she's so angry. I just
Someone's
something-
Yeah, but you
spiteful.
can't be trying to sabotage the fucking team. Come on.
well, nothing too serious. Just a few stomach
Let
grumbles.
me-
Yeah, it's not too serious until Garroth shits himself in the middle of a fight.
I'm gonna say that you do look around, and after quite a while of extensive looking about, you do find a herbal place in the small market here in this city, and you do find enough stuff that combined could make a laxative very easily.
And she just
But it's
kinda-
literally stuff you have to piece together yourself.
right.
I
guess she'll.
the combined,
I guess she'll hold off on it right now and try to figure out a way to figure out how to get it, and then I guess she'll start looking at shrines.
All right.
And
The shrines should be a lot easier. Yeah. All right. So you do head off. After you find out that you have to kind of do it yourself, you're just kind of, I don't care, and kind of wander off to go find the shrines. There is a section to the northeast of town that does have some shrines. You see some obvious ones. You see like a Mitra one, a Set one. Obviously, there's no Crom. No one worships Crom, at least not publicly.
right.
A bit of further looking around, you do see a few other little outer ones not too far away.
Yeah.
Anyone in particular you're looking for?
One to the goddess that spoke to her.
Oh, okay. I need to remind myself what the name was again.
Yeah, I can't find the name on the chat.
Got to remind myself what it is again.
Ah.
That's it. Okay.
Sorry.
It's working worse.
Oh, sorry.
Please, you really need to be careful about that.
Sorry.
You do after a bit of more poking around, at like one far corner, you find a small little shrine to Darketo.
Darketo. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was about to look it up. So
a matter of fact,
she.
from what you can tell by looking at the shrine, there must have been someone that visited it recently, because there are actually a couple of rather long candles burning on it right now.
Can I check if there's any tracks in the sand or anything, or is it just road?
A lot of this city has been eventually made out of paved roads, so there's maybe a little bit of sand about, but nothing that you can particularly easily garner. There's what little footprints there are in the sand, it just goes in all directions.
I guess she'll look around and see if anyone notices and kind of push her hood further down her face, and then is there a candle to light there or something? Or
Yeah, there's a couple of lit candles on it, yeah.
well, I mean an unlit candle or
Oh, an
something.
unlit candle, not at the moment. It seems like someone might have cleaned up any previous ones when they lit these.
And I guess she'll just kneel down and pray and see if there's anything happens.
Okay. I got a good one for you. Yeah, this is gonna be something that not even you can miss. So as you're sitting there and you pray for a few moments, essentially, basically, you know you're supposed to be here for some reason. You're trying to seek out this goddess, and you're trying to look for some sort of sign. That's literally when a blast of light that seems to be like miles and miles out of town suddenly just bursts and goes straight into the sky. The city kind of, a lot of the inhabitants of the city kind of turn and look, and then shrug and continue on.
Do I know which
It seems that
location?
whatever this is, it's unusual, but at the same time, it's happened enough that the people are trying to ignore it.
So do I know what direction it is?
Yeah, you got a basic idea where the direction was, yes. And by the way, everyone, that includes even you, Ozzy, on the dock, saw that burst of sudden pillar of light go shooting into the sky and then stop again.
Well, that's unusual.
Yeah, this is. There was like a thunderous thum that made a slight reverberation, even as far away as the city, and then you see the pillar of light, and then nothing. It just stops.
Just kind of go, well, that's almost as weird as jerky raining from the heavens.
Girl, is just like right behind you as you say that. Weirder things have happened.
That was pretty much my point. Because of the freaking meteorites.
He starts wandering back to get the next box.
I guess Valena will look around and see if anyone is noticing her, and then just kind of walk into the crowd and go to like an inn or a tavern right next to where they docked and try to set up rooms or anything for the crew in this. Do we need rooms, or do we have cabins to take care of that? Or
I think it really depends on whether or not people want to have their own personal accommodations.
right?
Yeah, that's basically a personal preference depending on what people want to do.
I guess Valena will, while everything's being moved, she'll want to get her own space. So until everything moves, so a temporary resident.
All right, so you're gonna go and buy an inn for a room at the tavern. Well, you were looking around earlier before leaving to see if anyone really took particular notice of you. You don't really see anybody watching. Whoever must have been updating the shrine must have done it and then left without another thought. Just their work's done for today.
Okay.
There are people, and matter of fact, as you look around, you see other people kind of once in a while kneeling down near a shrine, doing whatever business they feel needs to be done, and then continuing on like nothing happened. It's just a little shrine area in town.
Okay.
So, I had a thought. Probably should have dealt with this sooner, but now that we're here, what does the wizard guy who's missing a tooth want to do?
Oh, the new guy.
Because I don't think he really decided what he wanted to do. So, I mean, he's free to go if he wants to.
Actually, despite the slight unease of his ship being boarded and a whole bunch of weirdos taking over, he finds you people not to be all that threatening as long as he's not on your bad side. So as you've been unloading, he's actually been using some of his magic apparently to help push some of the boxes So every
Okay.
once in a while, you get both you or even the barbarian will kind of stop and look as he's kind of just like using something invisible to lift a box and start pushing it as he walks alongside it off the boat.
All right.
So he's trying to ingratiate himself.
He's trying to make up for setting you all on fire. And hoping that you don't need to punch out any more of his teeth.
Right.
I mean, having a backup wizard around wouldn't be that bad of a thing.
Especially if you have to leave the boat for a while, at least you can make sure there's more than just cannons protecting the thing.
Right.
If you, speaking of which,
Like if we venture inland, we'll have more people to look after the boat.
So, as you finally finish unloading, and everything finally gets taken off the docks, you see the harbor master kind of looking around and goes, "Ah, yes, even more than was accounted for. Excellent." Just kind of happy with the general amount of stuff that's been ordered by the city that's finally arrived, and with everything set in, and he also takes account of the flag and a couple other things. He goes back to a group of his men who have a few things off to the side and have been waiting for a little while. He kind of seems to be going through things, and it's like that, and that. Yep, and just collapse. The bell claps, and the men quickly start rushing back to your boat with new stuff. Now, you can count at least one chest of money, and this seems to be the reward for getting all of the spices and other things you have managed to collect on your way back in this direction. So the chest is already money just for the supplies, fine making it. The next couple of things you see, however, are them literally boarding your ship with miniature catapults.
Oh. That will be helpful.
Yeah, so you see them setting up at least a catapult on each side of your ship now. So it's actually going to be armed, and then the next couple of, next like 4 or so guys are bringing in loads of big rocks for it to fling on each side. So it should be relatively easy to load and fire.
I kind of look at the dockmaster with a grin and go, I think we're going to be good friends.
It's always a pleasure doing good business, yes. Bonuses give their own rewards. For dealing with the pirates, we are my friends. Better armed you are, the more pirates you can take out for us.
Well, I appreciate the assistance.
It's no problem, we have more where those came from. And the guys, with a little bit of help of your carpenter, also go about making sure that the catapults stay fastened to the ship.
I do want to ask the dockmaster a question, though.
Okay.
I ask him if he knows if there's any place in the city that would be good to try to find a cook for my crew.
A cook, you say? He kind of stops and thinks for a moment and looks around. I will not say offhand for sure, but if I were you, he does point to a tavern, which not too long ago a certain necromancer already walked into. A lot of the sea-bearing types tend to go into there for drinks, and some of them are usually looking for jobs. You might find a cook there.
Much appreciated.
No problem. He goes about checking on his guys, making sure they're getting the job done. After they've dropped off the chests on the main deck, Geralf and Theobald kind of nod and decided they need to take it below deck just to make sure it stays safe for now.
Yeah, I go and I follow them down so that I can actually inspect how much money is actually in it.
Yeah, you pop open this chest and it's already like, oh, this is gonna take like half an hour to count. There's pricier gems in there. You're used to seeing lots of the small gems. There's a couple of pricier gems in there. There's a ton of gold in there, and there's also a few platinum pieces in there already at the top spilling out as you open the thing. Like, they've been
Alright.
waiting for these supplies for a long time, and they're willing to pay big for getting the stuff finally handed in. And you found more than what you were coming with.
Right. So I'm guessing we're putting off the actual amount for later.
Yeah, we can put off the actual amount for later. We'll try to figure out an amount by the time you hopefully ask again, or have time for your character to count it all.
Right. Yeah, so, well, I mean, the thing, I got enough money to deal with whatever I need to in town anyhow at the moment.
Mhm.
So yeah, so I'm going to head to the tavern.
All right.
Actually, one side note. The mage guy, do we have a name for him?
Actually, I don't think we named him yet. Let me drag this over here and get a quick moment of thought here. And actually, I need to actually go back over to that tab too. Zoom out.
And actually, as I tavern, I tell Theobald he's in charge till I get back.
Oh, so you're having Theobald stay at the boat?
Yeah, I want at least somebody that I consider competent to stay with the boat.
All right. Come on. Why are you ignoring me?
Theobald's kind of the straight man of the group, so he's kind of the person I defer to as like the voice of reason in most cases.
It's on Token Layer. Why aren't you letting me do things with him then? The Token's acting really weird. It's not letting me get to a thing where I can name him right now for some reason. Let me try it with
Okay.
the others. What the hell? Okay, none of them are allowing me to do that.
Okay.
What the heck? Here, I'm gonna refresh really quick. I'm gonna see if there's some sort of
What are
problem
you trying
here.
to do exactly?
I'm trying to get so I could give the token a name, and it's not letting me. It's like not even giving me the option.
So you're clicking on it and like the gear isn't there?
The gear's there, but I'm clicking on the gear and the gear's doing nothing.
Yeah, that's probably something that needed like a refresh.
Yeah, not Actually, I should probably bring up some more music anyways. All right, there we go. Yeah, that must have just been Roll20 bugging up. We're gonna go with Tarthun.
Darthun?
Tarthun.
Tarthun.
Yeah, just gonna go with Tarthun. I'm just trying to ad-lib a name. It's like, you know what? Okay, yeah, that sounds good enough for some weird wizard guy.
Yeah, that sounds exotic from another part of the world kind of name.
Yeah.
All right, that's fine. So yeah, I'm gonna head to the tavern.
Yeah. Elena's already there, sitting at a table, just kind of by herself, her cloak right over her head.
Yeah, I assume you've already bought a room.
Yeah. How much?
We'll say it's like 1 gold for a night.
Okay.
So okay, so when I get to the tavern, I kind of look around to see if there's any people that would look like interesting prospective crew member recruits, possibly.
The tavern's kind of a little more lively now that they've seen some new interesting sights again today. It's been a while since a new ship has come in. As you come wandering in, a few people do look your way. They seem to recognize you as being the owner of that boat that just came in. Most of them just continue on for the most part doing what they're doing, though. You see some of the usual cutthroaty types. You see a few more burly types. I will say you do see a guy who's up by the bar who seems to be messing up the drinks, which is a little bit interesting. Also, off to one side, you do see a rather large, quiet blonde woman, kind of palish skin, just kind of keeping to herself, but also like kind of watching everybody around her as she slowly has her drink, apparently there for a meal.
Is she looking at Belena by any chance?
She might have looked at you for like about a moment, but he's not any more than anyone else in the room, as she just kind
As she looks, she just furs down her hood and just kind of, just like taps her fingers nervously on the table.
of.
So,
So speaking of which, by the way, so Thelena, as you're sitting here in this tavern, you've been to this town for a little while. You've gone venturing. You kind of actually unsuspectingly just happened to travel up from the south end of the sea and just headed up this way. You recently have been hearing whispers from the locals at the bar that a ship just recently rolled in, and now you've seen not only this strange woman in a black robe who's sitting by herself, having paid for a room, but also you've now witnessed a woman in a rather fancy hat and a long black coat walking in.
All
Both
right.
seem to
well,
be relatively new people.
So
I'll
one in
keep
long.
a wary eye on them.
Okay.
So you said there was a woman in a long black robe or something?
That was you.
yeah, he's describing you to Ron.
Oh,
Okay, let me think of how to do. How to go about doing this?
Excuse me.
I just kind of walk to the center of the tavern and kind of like loudly clear my throat to like try and get people's attention.
Elena kind of cowers in embarrassment.
I say, I've recently acquired a bigger ship, so I am in need of more crew members for my my journeys at the sea. Is there any interested warriors, or we really need a cook?
Roll a charisma check for me, please.
Like persuasion or just charisma?
Yeah, let's make it a persuasion. That'd work a little bit better, I think.
Oh, God!
My.
I knew it.
I had a bonus too. That was a natural 3.
Helena
Ouch.
and Talona, you both feel like just face palming for poor Ozina here at this very moment.
Belena just has her face in both her hands. She's just underneath her hood and just going, "This ain't happening. This ain't happening."
You got the one guy who was kind of mixing drinks has stopped and looked for a moment and kind of looks up and goes, I'm a bit of a cook, out of kind of half pity.
Okay. I guess I'll approach him then, since he's the only one that's actually said anything.
All right.
I go, yeah, I mean, we've managed to do our own cooking, but it's not quite the same as having someone that's actually a professional.
Not masters, eh? You're just trying your hand at it a bit, and he's slowly is making. He's in adding different things into this one particular large mug. He's added a little bit of unclear substance, and now he's been adding a thicker looking substance, and then you see him grab what seems to be some sort of alcohol and pours that in as well really quick before capping it again and stirring it up. I'm more studied in drinks, but I have been known to make tap 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 on the glass, on the mug, relatively decent meals in my time, and takes a quick swig. Oh, okay. He looks back down into it. A little less of the rum next time. Having just botched himself.
I kind of raise an eyebrow and go, "There's such a thing as too much rum."
If you mix it wrong, yes. It's supposed to be a sweeter drink. He looks slightly disappointed. Oh well. Downs it some more. Puts the mug back on the counter.
Well, you know, one thing I realized I didn't do when I walked in is I didn't even say my name. So introduce myself as Ozzy Arcane to him and hold out a hand for a handshake.
Wow, I'm trying to come up with names on the fly today.
I don't know why, but I want to name him Orzu.
Want to name him what?
Orzu.
Orzu?
I don't know.
Not even
Just
sure what
popped
that's
in my
supposed to be a reference to.
Nothing. It just popped in my head.
Okay. Well, as soon as you mentioned that, I actually just thought of something. I'm just gonna go with my gut instinct. The name's Trent, and he kind of starts shaking your hand.
What sorry, what was the name you said? Trent? Okay.
I'm trying to come up with some semi-normie names for the crew.
Right.
we got enough weird ones.
Right.
Bloody freaking Giselle is one that, despite being a obviously decent name, is one that my brain will not remember for some reason right now.
Right.
Well, I'm like writing them all down on my notes. Because I realized, well, the decent sized crew, it's going to be hard to remember everybody.
So
I go, well, Trent, I must, just to make sure, you don't have an issue with us hunting pirates, do you?
He raises an eyebrow, kind of looks around. Cuts throats hunting pirates? Now that sounds a bit like fun, Captain.
This job, what does it pay?
You suddenly hear this voice from a larger woman that's suddenly right behind you. I assume.
Kind of jump a little bit from just suddenly hearing a voice I didn't expect, and then turn around and I go, well.
You turn around and you look up.
Yeah, you look way up. This blonde woman has got to be at least 6.5 feet tall, at least.
I guess kind of grin. I go, I think Garoth's gonna like this one.
And then you just hear a giant spit out from someone drinking something from the other end of the room.
I go, well, it depends on how well you can pull your weight, and you look like you can do that pretty well. We split the money up from any mission we take care of fairly evenly. The non-combatant crew members get less than the rest of the crew, but that's because they're not really there to fight.
Are you bound any particular location? Her accent is thick and completely unrecognizable.
Actually, not
quick,
completely unrecognizable. Actually, because they've heard it from one of their own. It sounds a little bit like Theobald's, although it is a bit mixed.
Real quick, how tall is this woman?
Over 6 feet tall.
Oh, she is taller than Valina then. Okay.
Oh yeah.
No, we're not bound to any specific location. We're adventurers that have a big ship.
I would prefer not to go south.
Huh.
I just came from the south, and it was not pleasant.
You mean south on this part of the continent, or south in general?
Well, you go south from here, and you reach Stygia. No.
Yeah, we don't want to go anywhere near Stygia. But there is a southern area in the sea where there might be more people I need revenge against that we know are kind of hanging around in that area.
Well, I will give it a try.
So, you must have overheard my name, but what's yours?
I am called Thelona.
Thelona.
Yes.
Has a nice ring to it.
She goes back to where she was sitting and she picks up a sword, probably 5.5 feet long, and straps it to her back.
So we got 2 great sword users in the group now. I'm sure Azina's sword isn't that big, but hers is also pretty big.
It's-
Azina's
You
sword?
can't
Well, anyway.
tell
She's got a
where-
great sword, remember?
Oh, I forgot you had one. Okay.
you can't tell where the sword was made. I mean, normally you can say, "Oh yeah, that's an Ankylonian sword. That's that." No, this looks weird.
Right. Elena catches a glance on the sword. Does she recognize anything she would know?
Give me a history.
All right.
Ooh.
Oh wow.
All right.
Jesus.
Whoa.
That's not even a natural 20. That was a natural 19. All the bonuses
Okay, as you're
made it
looking at this thing,
25.
you're trying to figure out where this is from, correct?
Right.
You see Stygian, you see Hyperborean, you see some Aquilonian. This thing is a weird hodgepodge. The hilt seems like it's one place, the handle seems like it's from another, the blade design seems partially from another place, and mixed with another idea too. It's a weird combination of things. This didn't come out as just some normal place.
Yeah, Elena kind of stands up and walks closer and examines the blade as close as possible as she's allowed.
She doesn't stop you.
Right. She just puts her hand on it and just not on the blade part, but the side of the blade. She strokes her finger and reads all the stuff and is like, "Have you been to all these places?"
It would be more accurate to say all those places came to me.
And then Valena kind of lowers her hood and she just, how is she going to do this? I guess she'll try to whisper to her as possible as she can. Because Valena's like 6 foot tall. So I guess she could like tippy toe to her ear and ask her, "You're not involved with anything business with the White Hand, are you?"
No. That's almost an immediate no. It's
Yeah.
You know what I just realized is funny? Out of character.
Hmm.
Azina's actually 6 foot tall, so this is a lot of tall women.
You're a bunch of tall women, but even then, Thelona's like at least a head above the rest of you.
Right.
Right.
I'm just saying, the sight of the 3 of them coming would probably intimidate a lot of people.
Depends
Where
on
all
the
these
region.
freaking Amazons come from?
A bunch
Well,
of Amazonian
and
boat
then-
pirates.
Hearing the immediate no, Valena raises her hood further and goes, "Well," and just kind of puts her cloak around her. "That's good to hear," and just tries not to look her in the eye.
Let's see.
The peculiar necromancer is peculiar.
yeah, she just gives you a weird look.
So,
Actually, here's something interesting. So you kind of, as she's saying this and she raises her hood, you see a strand of hair that looks like it was like roughly cut or something. And it is, I believe, white as snow.
Oh yeah, it's like silvery, almost white. So actually, with that, also give me a history check, Thelona.
Oh, this is not going to go well.
Looks like you get a natural 20. I guess we know what your dump stat is.
Oh yeah, that.
The hair seems weird, and you feel like it's almost on the back of your head somewhere that this means something, but it's just not clicking for you right now, especially for someone that seems this young to have white hair. It just continues to make your eyebrows furrow a little bit, but no immediate reaction to it, as you can't quite remember what it was. Excuse me.
All right, so the main we've got 2 new crew members. I actually want to ask the bartender if I'd be able to buy some bottles of rum.
You see what essentially seems to be an Eastern man. Facial hair is unusually long, but still well kept. And as he looks up as you're asking for rum, rum you say? Rum we can do. And he starts to go through some of his stocks.
I only got about 4 bottles to take back to the ship.
4 bottles of rum for the ship. Let me double check, because I know we have drink in here somewhere.
Oh yeah, I don't have the player's handbook open.
Tools.
Oh right, I should. Oh.
Tools, instruments. I thought there's okay. Ale. Do they actually have rum, or is it just gonna be?
I'd assume you probably kind of just gotta pick a similar price.
Yeah, ale and wine. That's all they're giving. So you know what? I'm gonna say it's not gonna be much more than ale would be in a normal place, because I'm pretty sure out here on the coast, especially, rum's not gonna be that hard to find. So I'm gonna say 3 silver per gallon.
So that would be like a bottle would be a gallon, I'm guessing, or
Yeah, essentially a big jug is gonna be like a gallon. So
all right. So
he probably pulls out like at least easily 3 or 4.
So that'd be 12 silver. So 1 gold and 2 silver. All right.
He thanks you for your patronage, and as you collect all the drink to head back to the ship with.
All right.
Bologna then turns to him and goes, "I would like a barrel of ale," and then leans over the bartender, "And not the shit you tried to sell me earlier."
Roll a oh gosh, what would this be?
Intimidation.
Intimidation.
Yeah, this would be roll me an intimidation. This should not be hard.
Charisma or strength?
Intimidation.
There's actually
there's 2 ways. If you're trying to mentally intimidate someone, it's charisma. If you're trying to physically intimidate them, you tend to use strength.
Yeah,
Well,
let's go for strength.
But the default stat for it on the actual skill sheet is charisma.
Yeah, I know. I built a custom one. Just same thing, just strength.
Alright.
I had talked to Matt about it yesterday.
Yeah, I like the idea. We might be a little more flexible on some of the checks, if you can come up with certain ways to go about it. Yeah, 13. I'm gonna say it doesn't take too much, and he's already kind of like, and quickly gets one of his barman hands to help him out, and they manage to find a decent-sized barrel of ale. So it's 3 silver for like a gallon. I assume a barrel is gonna be like 2 or 3 gallons.
Probably more like 10.
Or probably more like a 10. So, so 10 times 3, so that'd be technically a 3 gold. Big barrel for you of the decent quality ale that they have.
And I'll give him 4.
He thanks you very much, and quickly sends the gold to go into the till.
And then I just
Blaine's eyes go wide. She's just watching this.
And then she just lifts the barrel, almost one-handed over one shoulder,
They go wider.
and starts off towards the ship.
Blaine rushes towards the ship and it just goes, hi, Gareth. How are you?
Are you like trying to race past everybody else?
Pretty much.
Yeah, because I think we're walking at a regular pace, and Belena's
Belena's just like blazing as fast as she can. Okay. So yeah, okay. You take the bolting across the area. You're there when they're about halfway back to the boat.
Yeah,
So you're talking to Geralt?
Yeah, Gareth, and she just asks the most random question, like, Gareth, what do you find attractive in a woman?
He immediately stops, blinks, and slowly turns back around to you, giving that very confused look he so frequently gives you lately whenever you start asking weird shit. Matter of fact, he looks even more lost than usual, wondering why you even remotely care, as you've been kind of almost forcing yourself on him and freaking him out for the last couple weeks. He just kind of, what do you mean?
And she tried to drift her eyes away from his
Sorry, you
eyes.
start cut out. What was that?
She slowly tries to move in the way of like her body and trying to hide the shape of the new girl just walking up with the barrel hell on her arm.
He immediately sees you're acting very strange and is still looking at you befuddledly. Although he does kind of look around you, and he does barely make out that Azina is coming with apparently one of the new guys, a new guy with carrying some of the rum. So he's just like, oh, it looks like they're coming with a drink. What is with the question again? He's still. Actually, I'm gonna roll his intelligence, trying to see if he's trying to figure out what you're doing here. This is gonna be interesting for the barbarian.
You know, I've actually felt sorry for Geralt like probably the last 4 sessions.
The poor barbarian, the poor Sumerian is just absolutely beside himself as to what even is going on here half the time. Well, he does have at least that bonus of perception. He sees you're up to. He takes a moment. It takes him a finite moment or so, and he's just like, "You're up to something again, aren't you?" He slowly crosses his arms.
And she goes, no, and then accidentally she her like shopping list with all those herbs on it.
Looks down, and then I'm going to give him another perception check. Wait, what was that? Looks
I didn't
down.
know we were in an anime.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna say that the list is not only easy to see, but he does very quickly catch that there's something that sounded pretty super shady on that list, and immediately his eyes dart back up to you. You're planning something again.
It's not anymore.
You see his confused look turn slowly into a scowl. This does not seem to be a friend. This does not seem to be pleasing him very much. Xena and Trent finally get on board. Jugs of rum kind of softly clattering in their hands as they start to head down towards the kitchen. And not too far behind, all of a sudden he just sees this large blonde woman, almost as big as himself, possibly, yeah, just about roughly the same size as him, because Sumerians are built super big to begin with. Just slowly start to out-edge you in height, and immediately sees a giant sword on her back and a big mug of ale and around one arm. And he's just kind of taken aback for a moment. So, Thelona, you see obviously a Sumerian, deeply tanned guy, larger than any of the other crew members, pretty much. He does have a little bit of changed shirt on, but you can still see that he still has more or less your typical Sumerian loincloth and boots on. And he has a rather decently sized maul on one side, and he has a what seems to be an Atlantean sword on the other side.
That was a battle axe.
Or no, yeah, it was a battle axe. Sorry, rather decent sized small on one side and a big Atlantean battle axe on the other.
All right. Well, she sees that. I mean, it's more of an kind of a nod of acknowledgement.
He kind
As
of
she
Hmm?
finds someplace to set down the barrel of ale.
he kind of nods, and you might as well just keep following the others. They're heading towards the kitchen, so might as well take the ale there too. As you continue on, you do see a couple more people. There's a bearded man there. He does strike you as being Nordic, although you're not sure which kind yet. It's unusual to see just a basic brown-haired guy from that region. You also do see a woman that looks to be Zamorian. She's being very quiet and watching just about everyone from one side. And you do see a couple more crew members. One of them looks like he could have been an ex-pirate. It's hard to tell, but he does seem very sea-worn. The other two guys seem a little more fresh-faced. One seems to be the carpenter, and another one seems to be constantly carrying some small gear on his belt, so he might be the what's the word? Navigator. And also the last guy you see as well is the new guy who seems to be possibly Zamorian himself, and he's wearing wizard robes and he has some weird facial paint on.
That's not unusual in this day and age.
Yeah. It's not particularly unusual, but it's just like, oh, that's more of a basic wizardry type. Okay. And you follow Azina and Trent
Yeah,
down
actually,
to
that's probably a
second floor.
slight distrusting look at the wizardy outfit.
Mm-hmm.
The
Again,
facial paint, not a big deal.
Yeah, the facial paint, not a big deal. Wizard type,
So that might get a scowl as I go by.
He kind of seems to take it in stride for the most part and doesn't overreact to it too much. He keeps getting little sideways glances every once in a while, but yeah, you eventually go down to the kitchen. You're finally able to sit down your big barrel of ale and finally put it down for now. Anything else you guys want to look for or do really quickly on the ship?
Well, I was gonna before we kind of call a meeting with the rest of the crew to just discuss things. I do want to ask Trent. Are there any particular ingredients that we should get while we're in town?
That depends on what you want from food, Captain. And he kind of starts looking around. He does see that you're sparsely equipped right now, but there's at least enough to work with for the time being. What particular food would you be looking for?
This is a weird question. Out of character.
Mm-hmm.
Does pasta exist in this world?
I'm sure if it's not pasta by name, there's some variant of it.
Some kind of proto pasta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Noodles. I go. So yeah, are you able to make anything with noodles?
Oh, sort of a flour noodle. Sure, we can do that. We'll. He kind of looks at a few supplies. We're a little low on the flour, but if we can get some more of that, I can probably cook something up.
All right, that's definitely.
And he kind of looks through some of the other supplies. We got enough here to make a sauce for it. Maybe. And he looks at some of the spices. Oh, we definitely have enough spices. God, well kept on spices.
Yeah, it just dawned on me that we actually have the supplies from the crew we killed.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of look around and I go, I actually just acquired this ship and I didn't actually look around in here before now.
Oh, new, eh? Time to break it in.
Yeah. Pirates tried to board us and we ran up their boarding plank and killed them.
He kind of looks at you. Ah, not too clever, eh?
I say, well, I probably should introduce the two of you to the rest of the crew.
He can't. Trent nods and is like, "All right," and starts to turn about to follow you.
Assuming Thelona just follows as well.
She will. I mean, she's just kind of watching all this, kind of stoically.
Just kind of stoically
Lena-
watching and following along.
Lena just bursts down her hood and just slowly walks away and just.
You
Oh
didn't
my
follow
gosh.
us into the kitchen anyhow, though.
Well, she's going down to the cabin and
Oh.
she. This is so cheesy, but she just goes, "I'm sorry to bother you, get off," and walks away slowly. And I imagine that was gonna be so context.
So as you guys are going up, you do see Valena coming down the stairs, kind of looking a little disappointed.
All right.
Which, to be honest, she's been acting really squirrely the last couple of days as well. So this is almost nothing new.
Right, she's lost her sanity since Theobald dropped the bomb last few sessions. If it was
Yeah.
in God already.
Actually, actually, because as Valena was passing us, I kind of paused for a moment and go, "Do you have anything to do with that beam of light?"
I just know I have to follow it. Why?
You disappeared, and then there was a beam of light. I don't know how. I assumed it had something to do with you.
As you're bringing this up, all of a sudden you actually feel the vibration, hear the noise again. You just feel the slightest of rattles go through the ship, and you hear the weird noise of something in the distance.
Should we go investigate it if we have to, Captain?
It's gonna be on the to-do list. That's too freaking weird to ignore.
Because yeah,
Hey,
as soon as the blast goes off, yeah, people stop for a moment, look, and then continue on.
I take it I've been here like at least a day or two.
Actually, yeah, I was going to bring that up. You have been here for a couple of days. Actually, you've probably been here for almost the better part of a week. Whatever this thing is started up almost 5 or 4 days ago. And as the days have rolled on, it's gotten stronger.
So, since Valena's now down in the cabin, I guess she's gonna slightly take off her hood, revealing her whole, like, messed up. You can tell she used to have longer white hair, but it's been cut with a dagger or something shorter. It's kind of messy.
It was roughly cut, but it wasn't like messy.
Yeah.
I forgot that happened.
And she just kind of gives a slight curtsy to what was her name?
Thelona.
Thelona.
Bologna, and she says, "Welcome to the crew." And she just kind of walks up and checks the cabins and see if there's any rooms enough for.
Yeah, I'm
see
gonna
if she
say
can
I'm
get-
gonna say that the there's like essentially 2 floors to the ship. There's like the very bottom floor where it's mostly storage, but there are a few beds down there. But also on the second floor is where the majority of the cabins are gonna be. Normally, some of this cabin space would have been used for cannons instead, but currently with the catapults on the top of the ship now, there's not really a need for trying to find black powder things to put down there at the moment, and they're better used for putting up crew.
Right.
That beam of light thing, was that appearing in the middle of the sea, or was that off on the?
That's
Yeah.
more towards mainland, off towards the direction of the steps.
Okay. All right. So anyhow, we'll go back up to the main deck to talk to the rest of the crew.
All right. You eventually get up there with the rest of your new crew members. A few of the crew are going about their business. The newer piratey looking guy is actually up in the crow's nest, kind of having a look around, especially after that beam just shot up again. The new wizard guy is up in the front, kind of trying to look in the general direction, wondering what that was too, in his own way. Giselle has been just keeping an eye on everybody. She's interested too, but she's got her own side job as usual.
Right.
So and so forth. And yeah, there's just basically everyone's kind of scattered around the deck otherwise. Just
yeah, I kind of say, I as we get up onto the main deck, I raise my hand and go, okay, everybody, gather around. We got a little bit of a chat to have.
I'll follow.
The Theobald and Geralf quickly kind of turn back and start heading towards your direction. The wizard eventually starts to follow behind. Tarn starts to follow behind. Roger comes down from the crow's nest, not seeing anything else at the moment, and the other two eventually also come along, with Giselle following up behind the rest of everybody, just kind of quietly moving about as she does.
Yeah. All right, so I say, first off, this is Trent. He's going to be our cook. So we'll have some good food now.
Hello, everybody. I hope you enjoy dinner later tonight.
And I introduce Thelona, who's huge.
She's huge.
Kelowna nods just coolly, just kind of keeping an eye on everybody.
The majority crew nod and kind of say their hellos.
Blaine is sitting on a barrel, and you notice with her, there's a raven perched on her shoulder and a white wolf on her side that she kind of pets.
Okay, so Valena came back upstairs when I called a meeting.
Right, pretty much. You said whole crew, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you eventually came, but you eventually, as you're getting the group together, yeah, she kind of quietly sneaks up and has her pets around her now.
So yeah, so
Speaking of which, also from the sails, your parrot comes down and perches on your shoulder, Azina.
Oh yeah, I forgot about my parrot.
The necromancer, for some reason, bought a raven and a wolf, and the pirate captain bought a parrot because, of course.
My parrot's name is Alberto.
Forgot what my raven's name was. Storm was the name.
So I look at Thelona and I go, watch this, and I hold a coin up in front of Alberto.
Ah, shiny!
Oh, you think that's a trick? Elena goes, skulls.
Stop it! Ah.
Is having an animal a requirement for this crew?
No, I just wanted to have a pet. You've already met Valena. The rest of the crew, we have Theobald. He's our priest, cleric, whatever you call him.
He bows, and nods. His thick Nordish beard, almost getting tangled in the heavy armor he's still wearing. He doesn't always wear it on board the ship, but today they're docking, so he's got to look nice.
We got Garroth.
The barbarian nods.
Giselle.
Again, Thelona just kind of gives an acknowledgement nod.
Mm-hmm. Giselle, you announce Giselle. She slowly bows, hello, and stands back up.
I cannot tell these guys apart because of their icons, but we got
checking really quick. This one's Conrad, and this one's Gunther.
Yeah, so Conrad, the navigator, Gunter, the carpenter.
They nod and give their hellos.
Roger Burton's just Azina kind of pauses for a moment and goes, he doesn't really have a specific role, but he's helpful.
I look a little confused at that.
I am an experienced seaman. He kind of smiles, so you see a missing 2 for 2.
And
He knows-
Valena just claps her hand and in a slow clap goes, "Bravo."
He knows the area better than anyone else.
Hmm.
And
Somewhat of a guide.
Yes, that's the word for it. A local guide.
Navigator.
No, we
Yeah,
already
that's
got a
the
navigator
part.
point to
and the last one is a recent addition is Tarthun. He's the only member of the crew we defeated that had enough sense to give up.
Glad to meet your acquaintance. And the robed dark man also gives a semi-bow, arms out to the side, showing that he is not harmful. Kind of gesture.
Again, it's kind of a distrustful look I give, because wizards.
Oh, speaking of which, by the way, I need to go in here really quick. And I just realized we're missing at least one icon that we can have out right now.
Right.
And I can copy it now.
Yeah. 'Cause
543,
obviously,
not
I'm
really
assuming you
copy.
don't have one for Trent because you probably forgot I said I wanted to recruit a cook.
Yeah, I did not prepare one for Trent. I will try to come up with something by next time.
Right.
Okay, there we go.
Alright.
I had to raise the map a little bit higher to get it. Okay, copy. Back over here. And we'll paste you right here. That's smaller.
No,
yeah,
that's just the right size.
that's actual size right there.
Yes, that's actual size. Salona's literally the size of a bloody rhino.
I'm technically a large creature. Actually, that's 4 squares. That's like huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the size of a giant.
Okay, so
I thought you were less than half.
now that everybody's introduced, I kind of point at Gunter and I go, I need you to take the bear mast off of the previous ship and put it on this one.
Right, Captain, I can look into that. And wait to see
We'll
if there's
decide-
any more.
We'll decide what to do with the old ship after that's been taken care of. But a small group of us are going to go investigate that beam of light.
Was the light itself new, or was it
It started.
sound and light?
The light kind of started showing first, although there was still light rumble. But as the 4 days have passed, it's gotten more intense and has been a bigger and bigger boom.
So this was like 5 days ago, right?
When you got the voice in your head, that was about 4 or 5 days ago. Yes,
So same. Ooh.
right around the same time.
Okay.
Been doing that for about half a week.
Valena's eyes just kind of widened as she has this sudden realization. She goes, "That's the same time as." Oh, it's nothing. And she kind of puts her hood up and try to hide her facial expressions.
So I kind of look at Garoth and Giselle and I go, the main thing I'm trying to decide though is which one of you I'm going to leave in charge of the ship while we're gone.
Oh, you're going to want to leave one with the crew behind. Okay.
Yeah, because I'm thinking a 5-person group should be big enough, so I'm thinking either leaving Garoth or Giselle in charge. Because, you know, out of character, real quick, this guy's a recent addition, and I'm not sure I trust a guy that can annihilate the other 3 crew members by himself with them.
That is true. That is a distinct possibility if he decided to completely heel turn all of a sudden. He'll literally fireball them all to death probably in a couple minutes.
Yeah, that's a level to fireball.
But I actually stated out loud I don't know to leave Garoth or Giselle in charge because it's more up to. I kind of look at them and go, which one of you would rather come with us to the scary beam of light coming out of the sky, and which one of you would rather be in charge of the boat?
Neither of them seem particularly that scared of it. Although, actually, here's a good question: did either of them hear what Velena was saying about it starting around the same
Well,
time as something else?
I think Gareth was closer, so he probably may have heard Giselle
That would
if
still
she's
require
purpose.
perception checks because either one of them could
Yeah,
have heard it.
if
And
for Giselle was.
Giselle would have has a better chance at that possibly. So,
Yeah.
well, actually, oh wow, actually her perception is really low. Oh well, give it a try anyway. And
Ow!
What?
I saw that perception roll.
Oh, I thought my mic was doing something.
ouch. Yeah.
That was a lot of clueless.
Neither of them heard it.
Neither of them heard it. No, yeah. Geralt heard her mutter something, but he couldn't make it out, and Giselle didn't notice a thing.
Okay, here's an interesting question. Gareth may be close, but eventually at this point he knows Blena to know when she's hiding something, right?
Yeah, he knows that she's been acting squirrely, but not sure what about.
But here's the other question: would Giselle be one to pick that up? Because I don't think they know each other that long. But Gareth,
Still just kind of knows Velena's. That's about the only thing she really knows, I think.
right?
Yeah. That's the only thing she knows for sure. Outside of the white-haired woman's constant fascination with skulls, which hasn't come up yet today, which is weird.
Because the main reason I'm thinking leaving one of them behind is like, I'm pretty positive our new party member can serve a similar purpose to Geralt.
Right.
That is distinctly possible. Matter of fact, yeah.
But at the same time, Giselle has kind of like a similar skill set to me. So it's almost like no matter which one we're taking with us, we're kind of doubling
Well,
up a little
which
bit.
would you prefer to have? Extra meat or extra steely? Or extra rangy, I guess. That's kind of the difference here.
Yeah, Geralt will definitely tank better if we actually get into a tough fight. But I also keep leaving Giselle behind, so I kind of feel like she's getting left out a lot.
Usually Giselle gets left behind with Theobald too, though. Depending on what's going on.
Right.
Right. So
This is the first time I'm really just deciding that, because like, I mean, we could just all six go, but like I said, the other thing, leaving a guy we don't have a lot of reason to trust behind with the three weakest crew members.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, no. We don't know how. I'm assuming Trent's probably around the same strength level as the other non-combat crew members.
Yeah, he should probably be roughly a sailor if I don't decide to try and make him something else.
Right. So I mean, either way, even with the four of them, it's like a powerful wizard. If he decides I'm going to take over the ship now, they're all screwed.
Gareth has a better chance at surviving
Right.
the wizard, and Giselle would have to stealth it. But Velena's going to walk up. It's like, you know who should watch the crew? Who has those big, strong arms, that smile that kills. That.
Yeah, I just kind of. I kind of look at Velena and
Perception
go,
roll from Geralt. Geralt gets 18. I'll stay, and starts backing up a little bit. You're weirding him out again.
What I was gonna say is like before Geralt freaked out, I was gonna look at Velena and go, "Are you hearing yourself to stay?"
You hear this sigh.
Almost worked too well, did it not?
All right. I go. You know what? Though it probably is the best choice. Is Gareth? You're the toughest guy we got, so you're going to be the best at protecting the ship if anything happens.
Right.
Okay. Kind of giving him a reassurance for leaving him behind.
Immediately he looks around and somehow pulls out like a folded pirate hat, rather dusty, that he must have pulled off one of the previous bodies that were on the ship, and just plops on his head, nods and smiles.
Gareth, Captain, now.
I'm Captain now. Yo ho.
Alright.
Lena just kind of. Oh,
Yes.
are we leaving in the morning or immediately?
I assume we're gonna stay and have like at least a meal before we head off.
All
Yeah,
right.
by about this point it's getting midday, so you wouldn't be able to reach whatever it is before very late.
Right.
Yeah.
We were more at the planning phase than we're leaving right now phase, because we also still need to count. Actually, I guess we're still gonna deal with the money in that. We're not gonna deal with the money this session, are we?
We can. There's enough time right now. I can
Yeah,
quickly come up with a good calculation on that.
Yeah, I figure we're gonna look over the money and decide how to divvy it up.
All right. I guess while we're eating, Belena's gonna take Gareth to the side and just talk with him.
Okay. So you spooked him, and now you suddenly want to talk to him again. So as you sneak up to him to talk to him again, he's just like, "You give me mixed signals."
And she just kind of looks him in the eye, and she just goes, "So I'm going to light, this," and she kind of looks around and see if anyone's trying to listen, and tries to keep it in a low hushed voice, only Gareth can hear, and go, "I found a forbidden book of lore in the library."
He kind of slowly nods, watching you. He doesn't see you. He doesn't see any line in you yet.
And goes, "When I opened that book, strange things happened. And the same time this light appeared is when these things happen."
Eyebrows furrow a bit, and he's just like, "Oh, so you think the book did something?"
I don't think it was a book per se, but a force brought on by the book.
Look over in the chat.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry.
I was thinking it. I just wasn't going to say it. Bob just drilled into my head, and when you're not in the scene, sit back and shut up.
Yeah. So Belena just goes, I lost my concentration.
I'm
Belena,
sorry.
Belena just goes, "Gareth, I think strange things are happening to me. And I'm going to go to this light one way or the other. But in case this is the last time you see me, I just want to properly say I'm sorry and a proper farewell." Did you guys hear all that, or was I too?
I heard all of it.
I heard it.
He's probably trying to think how Geralt's gonna respond
Yeah, I'm
to
basically I'm going through the emotions of Geralt right now, and he is like all kinds of confused thoughts right now. So you think this is dangerous? Okay. So you're expecting stranger things? Okay. And apology. puzzler thinks for a moment. Eyes kind of go back and forth as if they're part of the brain processing, then kind of goes, apology accepted.
You just hear this. And she just kind of looks him in the eye and, like, dead in his pupils, like, deeply looks at him and just says, goodbye. And just kind of walks away slowly. Takes one last, turns around, looks one last glance at him, and walks away.
As you take do the one last glance, he's all of a sudden immediately right behind you again. Stop, like, pats you on your head awkwardly.
And you hear this,
Don't get murdered.
and she makes a little mother even that even Geralt is not supposed to hear. And she goes, Theobald scores more points than you.
Oof.
Oh.
Oof. Well, it's what you expect for a reaction out of him when you've been really kind of awful for him the last couple days.
I know, but she's apologized. She's trying to make things better. And
He doesn't know how to do the apology thing very well. He's doing the best even he can right now.
yeah, and she kind of thinks about it for a second and just goes, apology accepted, and just pats his hand on her head.
He kind of quietly nods.
And just kind of walks, and that's Felina for the night.
Speaking of which, since you're probably staying in since the majority of you are staying on the ship for the night at least, Shred does make up dinner with what he's got. I'm giving him a particular food cooking bonus, and yeah, that's probably the best meal you've had on the ship all week. Easily.
Not that surprising, considering none of us actually know how to cook properly.
He gets it he nails it the first time. Essentially, he does try his best to make up with what supplies are on the ship. He does his attempt at pasta, and it's not too bad actually. It's a little rough, but for a first attempt, it's actually going down pretty good. And he, matter of fact, he does so well. He actually has enough for seconds for everybody with the little amount that he had.
Nice.
So, a very successful meal. Everybody, I guess, goes eventually to get rest.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was going to say, with as little as he had, and there's 2 big barbarians in the group.
Yeah, there's second portions. So the barbarians eat well. I'm just saying
And
that
drink
this
well.
place was not like super stocked, but it did have some supplies.
And drink well. I'll share the ale.
Ah. The ale, and I assume also the whiskey gets shared.
Rum.
Yeah.
Or rum.
The
Yeah.
rum.
Rum.
Yeah,
Not
I
I
really.
like
didn't intend for all of it to get drank in one session, but yeah, we'll at least bust open one of the bottles.
Yeah. Probably
Right.
probably the rest of the crew partake at least in a little bit of rum. They don't want to get wasted because some of them probably gonna have to do watch duty on the ship.
Felina, like, is gonna drink lightly, and just is it night or twilight?
It's not twilight yet, but by the time dinner is getting done, it's into the evening.
I guess she's just gonna go up and just watch this sunset.
Oh, it's like the sun is probably already set. You're like maybe getting up there just in time to see the last little bits of purple and deep blue slip into complete black.
Yeah, but that's just gonna be her for tonight. So Ozzy, you want to say something or?
No, I was kind of trying to think of something to say. I didn't really have anything to say though. Yeah, no. For once, Ozzy doesn't really want to do anything aside from rest before leaving.
Mm-hmm. So over the night, a couple of you take different shifts. Valena slips off the ship after dinner to go to her room at the tavern for the night.
Right.
Have her quiet
Yeah.
spot for the evening.
Yeah, I mean, we shouldn't really need to have like a huge watch. We're docked at town.
Yeah, you're not having like a huge watch. It's like you can easily spread this out between the regular crew members, and it's like you only really need one guy at a time, just kind of keeping an eye on things.
Yeah, you know, you don't need to worry about pirates in port, but you do have to worry about thieves.
Mm-hmm. So you want at least a pair of eyes on the deck to make sure nothing's getting on and off
Right.
without stuff. So yeah, I'm going to easily say that nothing really happens over the evening. Valena, you eventually get up before the others do, since you went off to rest early on your own.
Right.
I take it they showed me to where I could sleep.
Yeah, they eventually take you down to the different quarter rooms that are on the second floor. It's basically there's the kitchen and the dining / mess room right there, and when you come down the stairs to this floor, and then the rest of the floor to the other walkway down to the second floor underneath the top deck is just a slew of small rooms with doors, so you get to
Okay.
have one of the new empty rooms to yourself.
Oh yeah, I did want to actually divvy up the money.
Yeah, so that was actually something I was going to do. So eventually, you also, as the evening rolls on, you do finally get some time alone with the chest by yourself. You
Right.
find in the chest 40 platinum, at least I want to say 500 gold. There's some rather sizable gems in there. One of which you can see is a diamond, and you're instantly like, Theobald could definitely use this to revive people, so this is probably going to be something that should be handed to him eventually.
Yeah.
The rest can easily be sold for cash unless you find something else to use it for.
So how many other gems are there?
I'm going to say there's at least another 4 relatively large gems. They look like they could easily be about 300 each.
So that means we're sitting on 12 gems right now that we haven't gotten rid of.
You never know. There's always stuff that could pop up that you suddenly would want those gems for.
The one thing about gems is they'll sell about the same no matter where you have them. So you're
A
basically
matter of fact, if nothing else, they're essentially a lighter currency than gold anyway.
exactly my point.
Right. All right. So yeah, so the thing is, we're currently sitting on 12 gems and 7 jewels. I don't know what the difference was between gems and jewels. I'm assuming jewels are smaller.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that jewels are probably a little bit smaller, essentially.
Yeah. So the 5. Let's see here. Obviously, Thelona wasn't part of the group, so she's not getting any of this money.
Yeah, that's not unusual.
So let's see here. We got 5 Can you divide 40 by 5?
Yes.
Oh, yes, you can. That was a stupid question. Oh, fucking
was
hell's
me.
wrong with me? My brain turned into a potato.
My brain's on fire.
Okay, so each of the combat crew members are going to get 8 platinum.
8 platinum.
Okay.
Which brings me up to 9 from 1. Let's see, the gold we got 500 gold. Right now I'm not going to put any of that into the ship fund because I'm going to count getting catapults as the ship fund.
That's a hearty price that you got taken off there, I guess.
So let's see. Let me see how I'm going to decide I'm going to do this. Okay.
No, wait, it was 8 platinum you said? Or was it
Yes.
5? Oh, yeah,
It was 8.
Okay. That's weird, but okay.
It's what it divided out to.
Yep.
I just,
Yeah,
no, it's so
for-
weird to me because also I'm like, whoa, all the NPCs have about the same platinum. Actually, all of them have the same platinum. That's a little
Could-
weird. Okay.
Because I've never given given platinum to the regular crew members. I've only given it to the combatants.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I fucked that up. Clear that. Oh. Okay, so and each of the NPCs is gonna get 80 gold. The 3 crew members are gonna get 33 gold each. Oh, I forgot about the wizard guy wasn't. He doesn't get anything because he was an obstacle on the way here. He'll
In the
get something
future,
next time.
in the future, are you going to consider him crew or combatant?
I'm undecided on that yet because he was kind of like a guy that we just happened to get. I wasn't actually expecting him to stick around.
Okay.
So
I'm just
how
curious.
much gold do I get?
80.
80. Okay.
And the Roger, Conrad, and Gunnar are each getting 33. Technically, one of them should get 34, but I can't decide which one of them is because you can't actually divide 100 by 3 properly.
Right.
Because I decided to divide 400 of the 500 amongst the the proper party members.
So they're getting 33 gold?
Gunter, Roger, and Conrad are getting 33. Everybody else is getting 80.
Everybody else is getting 80. Wow, okay.
Because like when it comes to stuff that's not on the ship, the wizard's probably not going to earn any XP because I'm not really intending on bringing him along for other stuff.
Okay, so he's going to be considered a non-combatant.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah. So in the future, that means
You'll have 4. We'll have 4.
six of us.
4
crew
of them.
members.
Yeah.
Could I make a recommendation for the future?
Sure.
Do a 10-way split. Each of us gets 1 share, 2 shares split up among the crew, remaining goes to the emergency fund.
Okay.
14, 15, yeah.
So you said do a 10-way split, but
The 10-way split, each of us gets 1/10 of the combatants. This is for the future.
right.
2/10 get split up among the crew, and that, basically, that's going to be 2 of them divided by 5. And then that leaves an remaining 2/10 to go into an emergency fund.
Actually, there's one small because there's going to be Trent as well, so that means
That's why I was factoring Trent into that.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
That's the only reason I didn't say 1 share for the crew.
Right.
Actually, I realized now as I'm going back through this, I accidentally added the wrong things to the wrong places of money, so I'm doing some quick fixing here. That fixed. Okay, and this was 8, so that's a 9 now. Still, it's a little bit weird that this is the same number across the board, just about, but it happens. So 80.
The other thing with the platinum being such a smaller number, it would have been kind of like harder to divvy that up properly amongst a big group.
Well, like I said, once you get a 10-way split, as long as you have a nice round number, it's usually an easier split. So that was what, 40 platinum?
Yeah.
each share would have been 4 platinum.
Right. I'll keep that in mind for next time.
It's just something I learned when we were doing finances in like 2 or 3 other campaigns I've been in. Is that the 10-way split is the easiest split to do. Because it's just moving a decimal point, so to speak.
Right. Yeah, this is the first time I've really done something like this where you have more than just the base party members to worry about. Because, like,
oh no, we are in the other campaign. We have a stronghold, so we have to deal with paying all of the people that support the stronghold.
Oh.
So we're actually going into like quarterly finances. It's a pain in the butt.
Welcome to being the boss.
yeah.
Next
Meet
time.
the boss,
thing is-
same as the old boss.
Yeah. And the thing is we may potentially get more crew members, but we might not need to because we got Trent. The mage guy is actually sticking around, and you have your character now, so we got a pretty decent sized crew even for this huge boat.
DOS boat.
Like if I actually got like
I just remembered. Has the boat been named yet?
I so badly want to say the Baron and Maiden Fair, but no, we can't do that.
What was the Garroth came up with the name for the previous boat, and I forgot what it was. It was like the Ocean's Vengeance or something like
Something
that.
like that, yeah.
About the Lady's Vengeance.
The Lady's Justice.
Sorry, I was trying to think of some Hyborian simile to the Queen Anne's Revenge, and I couldn't come up with anything.
Now, if we actually do what my one plan was, is we actually get a warship, then we might actually need a bigger crew.
Yeah.
At that point, Roger might become head gunner.
Well, I was having way too grand of plans at one time. I was like, what if we get a fleet? And then Roger gets to be a captain.
And you become the head general.
Dreams of being a Commodore, do we?
I was about to say Commodore.
No, Queen of the Pirates. There's a very big difference.
Oh, another one. Oh, great.
I watched too much One Piece, okay?
I was going to say, as long as nobody starts making One Piece references.
Yo.
Oh, God.
And immediately the crew comes up to the top deck and it strangles you.
Then the ship quickly gets renamed the Bounty because it's going to be the mutiny on one.
The crew immediately responds by committing ritual Sudoku.
They immediately aim all the cannons up into the top deck and let it loose.
Sounds
Ritual Sudoku? So they play a number game?
Yes, that was a joke. I was intentionally saying seppuku wrong.
right.
Ritual Sudoku. I finished it first, ha.
So we divide the money. And...
Yeah, I think Matt was still doing the money for the NPCs, so I was giving him a chance to catch up.
Yeah, I got the gold done. I got you have a certain number of gems. You were written down the gems. Yeah.
Yep. I have the gems marked down, so I remember about them. Those will just kind of sit in the treasure. We got 2 treasure chests in the cabin.
Yeah, that sits in the slush fund until they get cashed out.
Mm-hmm.
Because you never know when a gem is needed for something. Albeit not as much in this as in classic D&D, where it's like, oh crap, okay, somebody's dead. We need to res them.
Oh my
having
God.
1,000 gold piece diamonds.
For the big stuff I do charge them on that, and the cleric now has like at least 3 diamonds with this newest one that I can raise people 3 times now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
got 3 big beastly diamonds that he can raise people. So I'm not demanding like all the little dinky stuff, but like the big stuff, like the pricier stuff. Yeah, you're gonna need some
Yeah,
requirements for
that's the way Bob does it. If it's something that's going to be consumed
that.
by the spell, yeah, you're gonna need that.
Yeah, if it's gonna be something really big that needs to be consumed by it, I keep track of that. So something
Well-
like a big expensive 300 gold diamond, yeah, you kind of need to keep track of that.
Well, you know, a lot of the smaller stuff doesn't need to be consumed anymore.
Really?
Identify used to, in older versions, Identify used to be you break up a 100 gold piece pearl every time you needed to cast it. Now
Right.
you just need to have one. It doesn't get consumed by the spell.
But I think the thing is, like, a lot of us don't like to keep track of components unless it's for like some major ritual.
Yeah.
Well, that's why that's why a lot of the wizards in 5th Ed went to implement casting. Then you don't need it unless it's going to be
Unless it's something
consumed.
super uber, in which case, yeah, then it needs like the big uber pieces, and then you can do it.
All right, so are we gonna kind of like fast forward to the next day, or
So
Yeah.
basically, yeah, as I was about to get on before, you remind me that we needed to divide that money up. So you get done counting the money, finally go to sleep. Velena's the first one up the next morning because she went to bed earlier than the rest of you, but that also means that she has to go for a long walk back to the ship. If she doesn't, she could also probably stop downstairs if she in the main tavern if she really wants to get food, but she can also head back to the ship and see what's going on first. Up to you.
You know what? She has a couple platinum. We're just using the supplies we have at the moment from the ship, right?
For the moment, yeah.
So I guess she'll buy some more supplies and spices and
Oh, so you're gonna
Food,
stop by
yeah.
the food market and get up some more food supplies to bring in?
yeah, pretty much.
If you're just gonna go for like a general spree, I'm gonna say, like, put down 5 gold and we got enough supplies in the boat already for like about a week.
Okay. All right. So
Thelona gets up at the crack of dawn and basically spends most of that time practicing sword fighting on the deck.
and I guess Felina comes back with some supplies, and she sees her practicing. And goes, "Oh, I didn't know anyone else was up."
It's a habit.
I can see that.
As she continues to practice.
I just had like the weirdest freaking visual for some reason. Some reason, looking at Roger and seeing that mustache, I just suddenly started picturing him talking like Mario. It's me, Roger.
It's a me, I run the ship. Hello.
I made captain. Hail to the queen.
Doesn't help with the red hat. Yeah.
But yeah, like out of character, if Matt didn't already explain, like Roger and the mage both are basically people I recruited from beating the shit out of the rest of their crew.
Yeah, Roger was from the river pirates, and the wizard is from the sea pirates, which were the bigger group.
Basically, Azina's kind of becoming Whitebeard from One Piece.
So Velena's talking to Theona. I said that right.
Thelona.
Thelona, yeah.
The Thalona. Thalona. She's it's an L. I thought it was an I for some reason.
No, it's an L. Thelona.
The Thel. And she, I guess she'll ask, I never got to ask, where are you from?
Here and there. I don't really have a home.
I don't think I have much of a home either anymore.
I think this would be the point where Azina would walk up onto the deck and be like, "Welcome to the club."
Do you do that?
Sure.
I'm gonna say Roger's on deck. He was supposed to be doing watch, and everyone else has been slowly gathering up on the top. And Roger's like, Theobald got kicked out of his home because he changed religions. Then he points to Thelona. New gal has got no home, just has been wandering. Points to Valena. You're worried about home, but haven't been there in a while. Then he thinks for a moment, and Gurov seems to have lost his clan. And then thinks about Giselle, and the other gal has run away from home and doesn't want to go back. Just kind of tilts his head sideways, shrugs a little bit, and goes back to checking on some stuff on the deck.
Alzina kind of like blanks and goes, "Wait, how does he know more about Giselle than I do?"
I'm a good listener. As he continues to the front of the ship.
I'm a good listener. I can't stop it now. It's headcanon.
You have poisoned the character of Roger. Thanks.
So obviously, I'm waiting for Giselle and Theobald to get up so we can.
Eventually, the others do get up, but also as they're coming up, you do smell something cooking underneath on the floor below you, which means that breakfast is about ready.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. Obviously, want to eat before we leave.
And Valena goes help put the supplies down in the kitchen area. And
Okay. Trent looks up from his already started cooking. Oh, thank you. Matter of fact, he reaches in and grabs some more of the flour. I was just running out. And he starts pouring some more in. Adds another like quarter of a mug of water and starts mixing it up. Essentially, what you come back downstairs to is a Hyborian version of pancakes and a little bit of bacon.
That would exist.
Eggs, yeah, I'm sure that would exist. There's got to be some sort of rough.
Since prehistory, so
yeah. There's some sort of. It was probably called something else, but essentially that's what you come down to is pancakes, eggs, bacon. Some
pretty much
also,
as long as we've had flour, we've had some version of that.
some fruits and vegetables also pre-cut up and set out on a plate ready for people who want any of it. And he finishes putting it down, puts a kind of semi-sweet cinnamon sauce that he managed to make for the pancakes down. And breakfast is served. Bows and heads over to prepare some milk.
They do have silverware back then, right?
There's definitely some sort of flatware, yeah.
Yeah, she takes her flatware and just kind of pokes at the Hyborian pancake and just stares at it and just... And you see a single tear
soft,
just comes
it's
down
fluffy,
her eye.
and it seems to be a relatively well-cooked item. It's slightly brown.
Right, but you see a single tear just come down her face, like as she's just poking it, because it kind of reminds her of home that she can no longer go back to, as far as she knows.
Lona just digs in with gusto.
Grabs
Complete opposite of you.
Grabs up like 3 pancakes with 1 fork, plops them on her plate, grabs a little bit of sauce, swirls it around, grabs a handful of bacon, a handful of eggs, and just starts plowing them down. And as you as you're in the midst of doing this, Flona, you realize just across the table from you, Garth is just about doing the same thing, only he's already got half a pancake already stuck in his mouth. He's not even bothering with flatware. He's just literally just going at it.
Okay, so
Thelona does actually use the flatware, but she's not. I mean, she's not going like whole hog, but she is eating with definite speed and relish.
But you said Trent was bringing us milk to go with the food.
Yep. After a brief moment, he does put down a jug of milk for people to drink from.
I actually, I'm gonna drink the milk, but I also pour myself a glass of rum.
A hair of the dog that bit you?
The captain's having two beverages with her breakfast.
Yeah.
If you're thinking we're going into combat, is that a good idea?
Valena finishes her meal and just kind of pats a curtsy and just goes upstairs and waits for everyone else.
I mean, like you can't play a pirate character and not be partially inspired by Captain Jack Sparrow. Why is the rum gone? But why is the rum gone?
You're right.
Why is the rum gone? Because you won't lay off it.
No, she just looks kind of funny at that because for her, you drink when the job's done, not before you go into it.
Well, even if we do get into a fight, it's going to be a while before we reach there.
That's true. We're gonna have. It depends on how long it's gonna be. It's gonna be some crappy cooking.
As the conversation continues, Geralt finishes his pancakes and is about to start his bacon, and he looks up to the conversation. As far as I'm concerned, it's just a habit of the sea, and then chows down some more bacon.
I think I named the raven Tombs or something.
That sounds about right.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
And when Geralt says it's a habit of the sea, I go, see, he understands.
I wouldn't know. I didn't grow up on the sea. All I know is the speed's cruel.
As Trent is coming back to also dig in, he's like, perish the thought of gruel. Food for slaves.
But
a couple pancakes and starts
I am
eating.
well aware.
As Azina's enjoying, having her breakfast, she does kind of say to Theobald, though, so have you ever seen anything like that beam of light before?
Oh, speaking of which, by the way, even though things have been peaceful overnight, people would have reported that the beam came back a couple of times overnight.
Okay. But I'm curious what Theobald's thoughts are because he's, actually religious.
With that, I'm actually going to roll a religion check. He hasn't actually sat down to a hard think on it. It's just been an unusual thing. Now you're giving him is this maybe a religious check? And he's like, wait. Nope, not a clue. To be honest,
Wow.
I'm not sure I've seen anything quite like that myself.
Belena thinks about the light, and but she's also, was religious, maybe religious again. Let's see what she does.
Better than the priest.
You got
Still
a
not
tingling
good
sensation
enough.
that maybe it's religious, but you definitely don't have any proof.
I'm just going to say, I find it really odd that even though clerics and druids and stuff, their main stat is wisdom, the religion check is intelligence?
I know, right?
Because it's a knowledge check. All knowledge checks are intelligence.
Yeah, it's intelligence, whereas wisdom's more of a street savvy thing.
Right.
Wisdom's more common sense.
Mhm.
Int is more what you know.
Yeah,
Wisdom is don't stick your hand in the fire. It's hot.
So, really, really random question. How much jerky do we have left?
Oh, I thought you were keeping track of that. I would say you probably have at least another 3 days rations thereabouts.
We're going to take all that with us then, because we don't know how long this is going to take, and the cook's not going with us.
At least you'll have something that's prepared, yeah.
Right.
Aside from the actual rations, because I actually have 4 rations in my actual inventory, but we might as well use the jerky up because we've kind of been sitting on it for a while.
Yeah, it should get used up before it spoils. Jerky will eventually spoil. It's not impossible. It takes a while, but it's not impossible. So I take it, otherwise breakfast goes without any other instance, and you start getting ready to go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you head out towards the edge of town as you're kind of getting out there. You're also noticing.
Well, before we left the ship, I was going to do one thing.
Hmm?
I was going to walk past Gareth and slap him on the back hard, and just go, "Hey, don't sink us while we're gone." I would hate to replace all my stuff again.
You
He kind of grunts at first and is like, I haven't sunk yet.
Good to know. And then I'll walk off. It's just one of the. It was just kind of trying to establish some camaraderie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Velena watches this and she doesn't hear them, so her jaw just drops.
Barbarians being barbarians. but the necromancer doesn't get it and is immediately shocked.
What does she have that I don't have?
Not crazy right now.
So we're all headed off.
Yeah, as I was saying, kind of do your farewells. Tell them to keep an eye on the boat. There's enough money on the boat that you can pay for any dock fees.
Right.
And Gareth is aware of where the necessary dock fee money could be. So
Yeah.
all should be well. And you start heading off. You're out to about the edge of the town. And I'm going to go back over here to our other map.
How long has it been since one of these flashes occurred?
I would roughly say that there's a couple of them overnight. The last one, if you know what time it was probably somewhere around like 4 in the morning. And
do they occur with any regularity?
It would seem at this point they've been occurring more often, and at the last day or so, that seems they've crept up to like about one every maybe 5 hours or so.
At the edge of
but
town,
the time
I'm
has
like,
been slowly ratcheting up.
at the edge of town, I'm like, we should wait until we see another one of these flashes.
So yeah, last one was about 4 in the morning, so 5 hours later. 5, 6. Yeah, I would say you took just long enough for breakfast as Thalonas thinks about it and tells you guys to wait. Sure enough, another even bigger beam of light into the sky, slow rumbled and from a distance as it just bursts off again.
Get a clear visual on that?
Give me a perception.
Oh, god damn it.
Actually,
I think the other people could roll too. I think because we all were kind of.
Actually, I'm trying to see what Thano's got here that might help out.
I was kind of hoping for a tracking survival, but
where's your tracking survival?
It's basically survival's used for tracking is basically the purpose of it.
Okay.
Although
you know what, I think I'll allow that. It's kind of a tracking thing, so you're trying to just figure out like a distance and how long you're going to take before you.
Yep.
Well, we all can.
I'm basically just trying to match it to surrounding terrain, so we have at least a course.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, we're wandering blind in the desert. But not with that roll.
Anyone else want to try us? I will allow.
That was a 2.
I will allow survival, perception, or nature checks for this.
Okay, definitely nothing. But I'm glad I got the bad rolls out of the way.
Xena finally gets it. Okay. I'm gonna say that the rest of you are kind of befuddled for a few minutes, but Xena being this close to the edge of town, you're like, okay, so that's like on foot, especially in the desert, that could take you almost 2 days. But then the thought occurs to you, you guys have enough money, you can probably get there in like half a day on a horse.
Right.
Right. They have. Wouldn't
So
they have camels if it's a
you were
desert?
watching Kelowna again, weren't you?
Actually, it's not a straight up desert. To the south is more desert-like. What you're looking at is steppes. Essentially, you're looking at an area that's like very flat and plainier almost, but you're getting like tufts of grass. Some of it's a little more spread out, some of it's closer together. You get occasional couple trees here or there, but it's a lot of long flat land.
Right.
So you're suggesting we rent horses then?
Mm-hmm. And I will also say that while you're commenting on that, you have been told that this region is full of really well-known horsemen. Like, literally, it's presumed that this area of the world might have started horseback combat.
Okay.
Okay.
And so they're well known for like horseback archers and stuff in this area. So they're if you run into a bad bandit group out there, you could be in a bit of trouble.
So it'd be,
And especially if you're
Okay.
on foot, oh, they're just gonna walk all over you.
I kind of
Right.
paused. I kind of paused for a moment ago. So we probably should get horses to take to get to travel on. And do you think we should try to look for a local guide that maybe can fend for themselves in case something goes wrong?
I'll say you can try looking for that. Sure.
I was more asking the other party members their opinion, but okay.
Elena
I-
nods and agrees, man.
Okay, up to the other party members are there then. What else? What do the others say?
Thanks,
I wouldn't
Alona.
think we would need one.
Okay.
The horses, yes. The guide, no.
All right. Let's just get the horses then. So we need to go to a stable or something then. I'm assuming.
As you're kind of coasting the side of the city, you do, as I mentioned, also you do see a couple of different stables and so forth, and one of them does seem to have a number of horses there.
Right.
So it does not take very long to find something that you could use to get over there faster.
Yeah. How much would that cost?
If you're just going to rent, I'd say that's probably half the price of actually buying one. And buying one outright, I did this yesterday, I believe it was 70 gold.
75. I'm well aware of the cost of a riding horse in D&D. I've had to buy one multiple times. Sometimes in the same campaign.
Yeah, riding horse, 75 gold. So half of 75,
That'd
Be
be like
about
37.
37 and a half.
So yeah, I'll say we'll run it down, then we'll just be like about 35 gold per horse.
All right.
Does that include saddle?
And that will include yeah, that'll include saddles on them.
Because they're gonna get the saddle back anyhow. It's not like
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's no skin off their teeth. They'll include saddles on them.
I have a question, and I'm gonna have to look this up. I have a spell called Phantom Steed.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a good one to have. I gotta check duration.
yeah,
That's
that'd be
what
the
I'm
big
looking.
thing is you need to check duration first.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
So I remember you saying you wanted to pick that, and I'd forgotten about that until now.
Duration is an hour.
Okay.
You're going to be spending all the spell slots if you're going to only be casting an hour at a time.
All right. So I guess I'll rent a horse then. It'll be how much?
35 gold.
35.
that quickly used up like a chunk of that 80 gold. Because the thing is, yeah, we could buy the horses, but if we end up going back out to sea, they're going to be useless.
They'll be just sitting in the storage, if anything, and then they'll just be taking up space, yeah.
Do we get to pick a horse?
There are several horses. There's a little corral there where additional ones are right next to the stable. So yeah, you're basically get to have your pick. There's a couple of white ones. There's mostly brown and tan ones.
She'll take one of the white ones.
Okay. And I think there's also probably a couple black ones. Now that I think of it too.
I was even going to take a black horse.
I find the best horse in the stable.
Yeah, the one that's just like, where's biggest one? You look like you would take a punch in the shoulder. Yes, this one.
I was perfectly prepared to wind up with the worst horse in the lot, and I freaking critted.
I like to think there's a boy in the stable goes, "You break it, you buy it."
Oh wow, yeah. Thelona rolled a animal handling to find like the biggest horse she could, and yeah, that was instant. Oh yes, you.
Looking for the sturdiest horse there. It's the
Just kind of
steps.
looking in the eyes, he kind of whinnies back at you, but doesn't run away. So it's like, yeah, you will do.
You have these like two large women on these rival different color horses trying to show off how pretty their horses are, and then all of a sudden stomping on the ground this huge horse, this huge woman
Yeah,
on it.
basically, Thelona comes in on this giant fuck off stallion.
I
That's barely just big
had
enough to
I just
carry
had a
her.
realization. Theobald is all by himself with 4 women.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow! He's probably
the
gotten-
other two just pick horses at random. I'm gonna say probably both of them are brown horses that look in pretty decent condition. So
Just picture Theobald. Mitra treats me well.
Mitra treat me well. Mitra treat me well. And kiss the symbol and put it back underneath his armor. Oh dear, here we go. All right. So I take it you're gonna start heading off in the direction again of the light.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna say about 4 hours pass as you're wandering out into there. It's just a little past afternoon. You are about to take a break for lunch when you do see yet another blast. It's been picking up speed again. You're not sure if it's the fact that you're getting closer or the fact that it's getting stronger, but you feel a lot more of the ripple and you hear just this loud surging sound as it just bursts out into the sky again. I will say now that you also gotten closer that you can make out the whatever this light is it has a particularly green tint to it as you're getting closer. Before it was far enough away you could barely make out that it's some sort of wispy light. Although at night, the people at night probably could have also told you if they thought about it that it would look green in the night time.
So, how far was that from us?
That looked to be, if you set off again right away, like you could be there in like half an hour or less, and a little bit further to your west. Not a little west, no, a little further to your east.
Okay.
So we're gonna eat and then we're gonna arrive there relatively soon afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
I would say skip the meal.
Got jerky, you can just grab a quick bite and go.
Yeah, well, this is my point. Jerky doesn't really. We could eat it as we're riding, really.
Yeah, pretty much. So a quick jerky meal in your belly, so you start heading off immediately towards the light since it just went off again.
Yeah, Valina's gonna check her knowledge now. She's closer to light. Has she known anything similar to this?
Give me another religion check.
Oh,
He rolled history instead.
Oh, you know what? Let's see what the average between your history and your religion is.
all
I
right.
might give it to you depending upon how good you roll. I'll say that's close enough. You've not seen anything like this before, but you've heard rumors that particularly large places of worship can occasionally make lights like this. Some of them almost permanently and without thudding noises like this. But you have heard rumors that certain really experienced religious sites can have stuff like this happen.
I think we're on the way to a religious site.
You say that loud enough for the group?
Yes.
Okay, you
Don't-
all hear the very quiet necromancer say that this might be some sort of religious site.
Don't take this the wrong way, but I'm not knowledgeable on the fact that religious sites move. And this clearly has been.
Oh, yeah, it's not in the same spot it was the last time.
No, it's not. It's still in the same spot. It's just that whatever is happening in this place is causing this blast of energy to keep going off.
You told me that the blasts were getting closer over the 4 days.
Closer together in time.
Oh, closer together. Okay, never mind. Taking that statement back, please.
Yes.
Player misunderstood GM.
Sorry about that. Yeah, closer together in time span as to when they're going off.
Okay.
Right.
Does Theobald,
Is-
does
So
Theobald
if
have
we
any
sat
comment?
around and procrastinated another few days, it'd just be blast. Yeah.
Possibly. Does Theobald have any theories? Let's see. He's seen it up close now, and he's even seen the color of it. Has this burst any mental bubbles on him? Theobald's bloody confused. He's just like, it's beyond me. But she might be right. I don't know. I've never seen anything like it.
Is he distracted by the fact he's surrounded by women?
No, you literally see him kind of looking at the sky, almost half expecting it to happen again.
Okay.
It really is beyond him that this, whatever this is, keeps happening. He's never quite seen anything like it.
That whisper, does it get louder or anything as Splendid gets closer?
You haven't heard the whisper, not in a while, but the lack of whisper could also mean that you're on the right trail. It's hard to tell.
Okay. So we keep moving, and
So I'm gonna say, yeah, about another 20 minutes pass, and all of a sudden you see another burst. This thing is actually legitimately picking up a lot of momentum now. As you're
Wow.
getting closer.
I kind of go, I hope it's not getting faster because it's reacting to us.
deception check to hide her face.
Perception check?
Deception.
Deception? Wait, what?
Deception to hide her facial reaction when Azina says that.
Okay, yeah, roll deception. What's your natural perception, Azina?
Actually, it would be insight.
Yeah, it would be insight.
I suppose, yeah, that'd be an insight since she's trying to hide it purposely.
Well, that'd be what, my intelligence or my wisdom stat? If I don't have any points in insight.
I think you roll insight against.
Yeah,
There's an insight. It's straight up wisdom. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You look around the rest of the group and you immediately notice that the necromancer in particular is acting very shady.
It was kind of.
Sixth Sense is saying she's hiding something.
That's just all. That's all Azina has to say is,
Do you question her? Do you do anything else? Do you just keep going?
No, just kind of groan.
Just kind of groan and keep going. All right. 10 minutes passes. You finally get.
I have no clue what's going on.
You know what? Since this is going around the group now.
You rolled with disadvantage for some reason.
Because I don't know you guys that well.
Persuasion, performance, perception, +0.
Now, if you had gone with the other
Wow.
barbarian, he probably would have had an advantage on it. Because of knowing.
Yeah, because Geralt is starting to get starting to see through the veil on this little necromancer. She's been in a lot of trouble lately.
Thelona, on the other hand, doesn't have a freaking clue.
Right.
The cleric has no clue. Giselle also looks at the necromancer as like, she's up to something. Immediately looks to Azina, who seems to have the same expression.
So Azina just kind of looks annoyed, like, why me? If I realize Giselle's looking at me, I just kind of look at. Well, now I know how Geralt feels.
Whereas Thelona is just like, yeah!
Giselle just kind of half smiles and slowly nods. Just keeping quiet. Finally, you all start to, like I said, you all take off again. You pass the last 10 minutes trying to get closer. Nothing else has popped up yet, although the beam has been a little more frequent. And as you finally stop getting closer, you finally see essentially what looks to be an one would almost argue to say that it looks like a ruins doorway, but the fact of the matter is that it's a nice arching curved doorway. It looks like it's never suffered any major damage. It's a little bit buried under sand. And as you're all taking in this rather decently large apparent building that's been half buried in the sand, it finally hits again, and you just see the blast go out. But this time, unlike it just being a blast, the beam goes straight up into the sky, and after a quick thunderous slight boom and the usual vibration, the beam is actually staying on without further noise or rumbling.
Belena's gonna slowly get off her horse, walk towards the doors, and touch them, and see if anything happens.
You don't see anything happening as you touch it, but as you're kind of looking at the doorway, you do see in some of the artwork, it almost looks like script, and you can almost see a slight glow of a similar green color going through it as you're kind of looking at it closer.
Darkest day, blackest night. I'm just kidding.
No.
No, you're not a Green Lantern. Alzina climbs down from her horse. Is there any trees around here?
I'm gonna say that not too far away from the entranceway, there's a couple of trees. If you didn't know that it was in this general direction, the trees might have hidden the doorway from you, which is probably why it hasn't been seen in a while.
Yeah, so I try to find a tree to like tie the horse to.
All right.
And then I walk up to the doorway and I just yell, "Knock, knock!"
I'm going out and I'm muttering something under my breath.
Alzina, you hear your voice echo into the distance and kind of almost echo back, but otherwise you hear nothing. Actually, I can't say you don't hear nothing. As you're standing in the doorway, you do hear the very faintest slight hum, which might be the now continuous beam.
I guess.
Yeah, so
Belena's gonna try to. Go ahead.
Alzina sarcastically goes, "Darn, that always works."
Belena's gonna try to read the script. It's glowing.
Give me a religious.
Religious?
Check. Yep.
Oh, not bad.
Oh, wow. Okay. So yeah, as you start to look at it a little bit closer, it almost seems like it transforms before your eyes as the script suddenly starts to become a little more clearer the longer you're looking at it. And you start to make out this really, really old text that seems to be bordering on the framework. Basically, what you can gather out of the script that hasn't faded away too badly is that there's something about a goddess of life and death, and she protects her own. And it starts to go into some other details, but it becomes a little too faded and sand covered for you to make it out.
I guess these doors, are they too covered by the sand, or?
It's not. It's essentially a big open archway into a building that was pinned behind trees, a small patch of trees. So it's not.
So are these like shut doors, or are they?
It's just a wide open archway. The building that it belongs to has been covered over by sand, so people just thought it was another big sand dune.
Can she walk in?
Yeah, you literally, Alzina just screamed into the echoing chamber ahead, and nothing came back other than her own voice.
Belena walks in and she goes, "I'm here. How do I find you?"
You say that. There's a moment of silence, and then all of you hear this low, yet almost motherly sounding voice echo in your heads. Come closer. Come forward towards me. I'm not hard to find.
Belena comes
Belona
closer.
visibly winces.
So I'm just gonna say real quick. I'm assuming this is kind of gonna be a dungeon. And we're 8 minutes away from our usual stop time.
How about I tell you this? I've no combat planned for inside of here.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, Belena just comes forward. with and takes her hood off and showing all her white hair. And
So Felina just starts walking forward, and this is what she was asked to come to see. What do the rest of you do?
I guess I'm going in.
I will go in very cautiously.
I do. I pull out one of my daggers and cast light on it to use it as like a torch, kind of.
All
Because we're
right.
going into a place that's not lit.
Trying to remember, does Theobald have that too?
I think he does.
Yeah, I was thinking he does. So he, I believe he pulls out his Atlantean longsword. Yeah. And I'll check. And yeah, he has light. So yeah, he cantrips the light on his longsword as well. So he has a glowing sword as you all and he kind of enters in after Giselle, allowing Thelona to also have a little bit of light as long as he stays between her and Giselle. Because obviously Thelona doesn't want to go in here, but is going to anyways.
I'll walk up and hold my dagger near them so that we can
All right.
examine them.
Yeah, just give me a
Solana
general.
starts muttering again under her voice, under her.
Horrible, harsh things, but just kind of general depictions of them. Then you go to the other side of the room, and you see like fertility
I
symbols.
was gonna say, Azina wants to try to rack her brain to figure out how they're doing that.
Okay. Oof.
Make a dex check.
I guess a general intelligence roll.
That'll work.
You're gonna literally sit there and see if you can pull this off for a moment. It takes you a few moments and a couple of tries, but you eventually do. Might be able to get perfect.
The vulgar pirate was just intrigued. She had to figure this out.
You see the captain as she's looking at something, then kind of does. You see after a few almost failed attempts, you see her kind of go, okay, kind of like that, as she's still looking at one of these pillars. Hard to tell, but for the most part, they seem to the one side seems to depict the nature of life and such things.
Ron, the player, knows what's going on. Thelona is completely clueless and just glad it's not lizard people again.
Mm-hmm. So as you get closer and closer,
She's talking about Stygia.
Snakes, lizards, something like that.
You know, it's something that made me laugh really hard.
So that would have been like weird,
right?
So, as I was, you're getting to the far end of the temple, and you finally start to make out a door. Her entire person is divided in half. Half of her looks nothing more than a skeleton. The other half of her is and you hear her very clearly. Hello, child. It's time. I can feel your anguish, and I understand your pain.
pulls out a piece of jerky and starts eating it.
Blaine goes, what time for...
Keto. I am a god of old times and when needed of current times.
Knew it. Player knew it.
The exiles you speak... I'm just kidding.
Maybe you'll visit the exile land someday, but not now. Trees that are barely known, some of them relatively well known. You even see a flash of a horned helmeted man who very much looks like he could be a young King Conan as you see her kind of half sit up on one knee and seem to look out into the distance. I don't think there's a pillar, just this fiery green pillar appear in her hand, and all of a sudden there's a golden necklace there. And slowly she drops it right next to you. And that's basically the symbol you see. And it's all in gold in a necklace that you can easily put on, and the medallion's small enough you can tuck in underneath your shirt if you want to.
So
she goes, so what can I do for now to defeat her? I'm not strong enough to defeat her right now.
Keep the necklace with you, my child. Call upon me when it is time, and I will be there. For now,
have a-
take care, and
This is Darketo.
I believe
he
she called herself out
basically-
by name.
Yeah.
All right, so Alzina kind of steps. I say, I'm more than willing to help Valena since she's my friend, but being as you're a god, the bastards are that killed my crew.
Slowly, Darketo does look back down to you. Interesting about you, and you see the human half of her kind of start to smile. She takes a moment and goes, you'll find some of your enemies, as you have already presumed, in the south of the sea. But most of them you'll find still remain in the western sea. They will not hide well from you. So what was the intelligence roll for?
See, well, she just passed through Stygia not that long ago, and the Darketo cult is actually kind of a thing there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably there more so than anywhere else, yes.
Yeah, 2 and 2 got put together.
Better than some groups out there. Not 100% innocent, but not exactly horrible either. Just depends on which part of the group you bump into and what their mood is that day.
In Stygia, that's the pleasure side of Darketo.
Oh, so you saw the really happy, joy side.
Yeah, I didn't go far south enough to get the other end of the equation.
So you saw the part that I was trying to impersonate while looking at the pillar.
Which might have
enough
the god enough
to
to
have
tell you.
heard of them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't think I have any personal experience with them, but it's like, oh yeah, that's
You don't have any personal experience that you know of.
I was drunk at the time, I swear.
Anyhow, I just from the knowledge she gave me, I just kind of smile and bow respectfully.
She gets you, and she's also. I'm going to say it out front. She was aware of you trying to learn from one of her pillars, which also amuses her. So with that being said, without any further questions, she continues to look down at Valena and goes, "This is all you need